Lorenzo King at the wall! Look out below! Oh my goodness!
Sports are about seconds
Back jumper! Got it!
and inches
Did you see that?
and the blinks of an eye.
Got him!
That is what separates champions from everyone else. That is what writes history and rewrites it in our very lifetime. A second more, an inch less.
So close!
There was a time when everything stood still.
The game tonight has been postponed.
Through the cracks came light. And then everything became clear. 2020. Someday it will be just the blink of an eye. How humbling to think that what at the time felt like an eternity was only a single tick of the clock in the distance we've traveled together. We are separated by nearly nothing. We are in pursuit of the same goal.
Great play!
The sleep lost and the memories made are for keeps.
This city has gone absolutely wild.
That is yours forever. Because the beating of your heart, the adrenaline in your veins,
No, what a hit!
the fight in your eye is why we made it. Back to the field, to the court, and the ice. To write history. We're back. Because time never stops. And neither do we.
And at long last, we indeed have arrived. Opening day, Rockies and Rangers, the lid lifter for this 2020 season sprint to the finish line. Just a 60-game schedule. Well, welcome in, everybody, to a beautiful inside of Globe Life Field. It's 72 degrees in here. It is lovely, and we are ready to go for real tonight. Dave Raymond, CJ Nitkowski. And CJ, there's nothing quite like the thrill, the energy, and the newness of opening day.
Yeah, absolutely. The ballpark is beautiful, and just like we predicted, the Rangers would be in first place on July 24th. But what a great opportunity with this new starting staff, this new ballpark. Just one thing missing, of course, and that's you, the fans, and we can't wait to get you back here. But right now, it is an exciting time to be a Ranger fan. We're going to see Lance Lynn tonight, and it is going to be an opportunity that starts today for this team to get themselves to the postseason.
Everything will be amplified in this short 60-game schedule. Every game equating more toward 3 games worth. So a series here, in fact, this series against the Rockies will be 10% of the home games this year for the Rangers. It's a really weird schedule and a unique season all the way around, expanded playoffs. But the good news for the Rangers is they have a starting 5 that can match up with any starting 5 in baseball, and they go with a good one tonight.
For the first time in a long time, the Rangers are built on pitching. Now, we saw it last year, especially that starting pitching with Lance Lynn and Mike Minor. Well, now you had a couple of more big arms, especially Corey Kluber, who has looked really good so far in this, what we're calling summer camp. But it's Lance Lynn tonight, and Lance Lynn really did make quite the impression on Rangers fans a year ago, certainly on us. Heavy use of the fastball. We'll talk about his repertoire in a little bit, but this is a pretty special right-hander that so far has turned into a great free agent sign for the Rangers.
Okay, as he gets ready to go, there's some stuff to understand about the ballpark, and so we go to our source for everything. Where is Emily Jones?
Yeah, I'm amongst the fans. I mean, they can't be here physically, but they can be here in spirit and through their Doppelranger. Over 2,400 have been placed throughout this lower bowl, all made through donations to the Texas Rangers Foundation. And guys, you never know who you're going to find in the Doppelranger section. You've got the former president and my bestie, George W. Bush, and his lovely wife, Laura. There's Ranger Man himself, Michael Young, and right in front of him, everyone's favorite PR director, John Blake, is in the Doppelranger section. And you know what? I found a really cool one that's not far from mine here. Yeah,
Look at that young man.
Just a couple rows down, got better seats. Look at this guy.
It's a 30-year-old CJ Nitkowski right there.
Left-handed pitcher for the Rangers. How old were you there? Like 12, CJ?
30 years old, and boy, do I miss that guy in that young-looking skin.
Yeah, fun times, but a great idea by the Texas Rangers Foundation, and you know, a tough time to raise funds, and they've done a great job of it. You can still get yours in time for the next homestander later on in the season. 600 more will be placed before the next homestand, guys.
That is awesome. Awesome to have a little company up here as well. And, well, we have an opponent, the Colorado Rockies, to open this 2020 season and christen this ballpark. Let's take a look at their starting lineup tonight. David Dahl ready to lead things off in center field. Then it gets dangerous. Trevor Story at short. Charlie Blackmon moving down to the 3-hole for the Rockies in right field. And Nolan Arenado, local kid, at third base. Daniel Murphy, Ryan McMahon, Raimel Tapia, Sam Hilliard, and Tony Wolters rounding it out.
And we get an opportunity now to look at the still pitching arsenal for Lance Lynn. I mentioned the right-hander, lots of fastballs. We saw it last year. The 4-seam fastball 54% of the time. The 2-seam fastball at 17%. It's the cutter, the curveball, the very occasional changeup. But the velocity last year averaging around 95 miles an hour on that 4-seam fastball from Lance Lynn. And just a .218 batting average against.
Well, he winds it up and lets it go. And what do you know? A fastball for a strike. And that's official. Our new home, Globe Life Field, is in the record books. First major league pitch delivered, and it's a strike from Lance Lynn. Great view from straightaway center field. And the righty gets Dahl to foul this one off in the count 0-2.
All the things that I had kind of wondered about that were going to be different this year, and a couple that really stuck out. The idea of using the Doppel Rangers, and then of course the piped in crowd noise. All of those things have been really, really positive so far. We had a couple of exhibition games, but the idea that you can feel the excitement and feel like the fans are here has been a really nice aspect of this.
Dahl entering his age 26 season. First time All-Star last year. Had a good year. 302 with 15 home runs in just 100 games. The 1-2 pitch is low and in. Dahl maybe not a conventional leadoff man in that he will swing and miss a little bit. He's not one to, let's say, work a count and earn a lot of walks and free passes, but he can do damage. And Lynn's 2-2. That one is tight.
And a good season last year did David Dahl, and a guy who was an all-star for the first time in his career. Injury slowed him down a little bit, but you're right, unusual to see him hitting in the leadoff spot. They decided Charlie Blackmon would hit more in the middle of the lineup. They got some good options here offensively, do the Rockies.
All right, Lynn's payoff, and Dahl swings and misses strike 3. And what a start to the 2020 season for Lance Lynn.
It's something we saw so often from him last year, the swing and miss, elevated fastball. Lance Lynn talked about it this week. It is all about me going at you with my best and battling, and a 4-seam fastball that probably was out of the zone, and David Dahl could not catch up to it.
Lynn, 33 years old, his first career opening day start. Well deserved after a fantastic 2019 season. You could have given the opening day start to a number of guys in this Rangers staff, but 16 wins last year. Finished 5th in the Cy Young Award voting. Pitched to a .367 ERA. But for Lynn, really, career high in strikeouts, 246. Career high in innings pitched, 208 and a third. Was a workhorse. Every time he went out, you knew you were going to get a great effort. And now he deals with a dangerous Trevor Story. Former first-round pick out of Irving, Texas. And that fastball just missed.
So something here new also for Rangers fans is the idea of the look that you get from center field, the straight on center field camera, which I am a huge fan of. You get a really good look at that last fastball, and you can see how it just missed on the inside part of the strike zone. But what I think you'll really like about this is the movement on the pitches. that you'll get a good look at. Right there's the four-seam fastball, a little bit of cut to it that finishes on the outside part of the corner. When we were offset, it was very difficult to get a real good feel for what that movement and location was like. This will give you as accurate of a view as you can possibly get.
Story got ahead 3-0. Lynn trying to fight his way back in this. And he's just a little bit inside with that one. So the first base runner of the season for either team as Trevor Story takes his walk.
Let's go ahead and take a look at the Rangers defense, which is delivered to you by the Texas Department of Transportation. It's Nick Solak out in left field, Danny Santana in center, and Joey Gallo in his new home there in right field. Isaiah Kiner-Falefa getting his first opening day start at third. Elvis Andrus, Rougned Odor, and newly acquired Todd Frazier from the offseason. And welcome back Robinson Chirinos behind home plate.
So base runner out there now, and Charlie Blackmon, four-time All-Star, steps in for the Rockies. And he'll take a fastball on the outside corner for a strike. That kind of goes to what you were just saying right there, taking a look at where that pitch landed, which appeared to be maybe to the outer edge of the plate. And Blackmon felt that he had ball one there, but it was borderline. Fouls that one away, 0-2. Our plate umpire tonight is veteran umpire Jim Reynolds. So Blackmon with the count 0-2, missed a lot of time in this second camp, the summer camp as it was widely known. In fact, he just rejoined the team about a week ago today. Runner took a good lead, a swing and a miss by Blackmon, and that's 2 strikeouts in the inning for Lance Lynn. Story wasn't going anywhere, but he got the attention of Chirinos.
And you're getting a feel for where Lance Lynn right now might be going for those strikeouts. That looked like it had a little bit cut to it. Now, we usually don't see a 95-mile-an-hour cutter from Lance Lynn. That cutter usually sits around 89, but perhaps feeling a little bit pumped up here on opening day. Or that could have been just an offset of a four-seamer, so more like a four-seam fastball with some natural cut to it. Either way, that pitch was pretty nasty.
He throws as many fastballs as anybody, and he gets that one in there for a strike. Although, I mean, he does have various versions of fastballs, right? Which I don't know. I mean, I don't know if that's like misleading to say that a guy throws a certain percentage of fastballs when really it's 3 different pitches.
Well, it depends if you decide to put that cutter in there. You see the swinging strikeouts on four-seam fastballs last year, or I should say swinging strikes.
Well, Story's running, and he got a good jump. He's in there safely with his first stolen base of the season.
Take a look at the jump. You could see Story leaning, pretty respectable jump and solid throw here. This was a close play, and you see where Rougned Odor caught that ball on that first base side of second base. This is exactly where Chris Woodward wants his guys to throw the ball and to also field it when they're putting these tags on guys, especially in the age of instant replay. We've got more opportunities to get those tags in front of the bag. You no longer just kind of stay right on the bag the way that you had seen for years. Chris Woodward likes his guys offset.
That one gets away into the backstop, and so Story now moves to third.
Looked like Robinson Chirino just missed this. I don't know if he got crossed up at all. We'll see how he tries to receive it. No, that didn't seem to be the case. Now, perhaps that fastball had a little bit more cut on it than he was expecting as it hit the tip of his glove and rolled back to the fence.
His first pass ball of the season has potential first run of the game, just 90 feet away now with Nolan Arenado, very dangerous hitter at the right side. 2-1. And then falls behind again. Lynn has in this first inning expended a good number of pitches and fallen behind just about everybody. See those preposterous numbers for Arenado last year. Pretty run-of-the-mill stuff for him. one of the absolute brilliant stars of the National League. 3-1. And I think he went foul tip even.
Yeah.
Full count.
Probably a strike anyway. You
Yeah.
saw it there in the bottom of the zone. You mentioned Jim Reynolds behind home plate here tonight and called that foul tip, which it was.
I'm with you. A strike on its merit. Probably would have been a strike on a swing, and it was a strike on a foul tip. Payoff pitch in the air. Playable for Chirinos. Should in the inning, and it does. So a goose egg in the first for Lance Lynn. Nice start. And now the Rangers come to bat. And Baylor Scott and Whitell, changing healthcare for the better. Well, great start as the top of the first inning. Lance Lynn came out firing and put a 0 on the scoreboard. Now the Rangers leading it off with the veteran left-handed hitter DH Shin-Soo Choo. Then it's Elvis Andrus and Danny Santana. Heart of the order as Joey Gallo, Rougned Odor, and Todd Frazier, new face. Robinson Chirinos, Nick Solak, and Isaiah Kiner-Falefa rounded out for the Rangers tonight in the 2020 season opener. German Marquez in his first pitch, a fastball, just a little bit up, ball one. A swing and a miss will even things up for Choo.
Got a pretty good one. You saw that fastball from Marquez. He averaged 96 miles an hour with his heater last season.
Pretty free and easy with it too. 97 with that one that missed. This is one of the real good young pitchers in the National League. Just 25 years old. His first opening day start. And Choo lifts this one into left. Hilliard, local product, in place and makes the play.
That'll give us an opportunity to look at our steel pitch arsenal here on German Marquez, excuse me, a right-hander. I mentioned the fastball's got good velocity, and it's a pitch that he uses often, 35% of the time. The curveball, though, is really the pitch to keep an eye on tonight. That is the big one for him. That is how he gets a lot of his outs, and he had just a 130 batting average against his curveball last season. He's also a guy, as you see the strikeouts there in the non-fastballs, who is probably very happy. I guess you could say this for any Rockies pitcher, but to be pitching on the road. But him in particular, he really struggled at Coors Field last year. ERA 6.26, which was the highest among starting pitchers at home in all of baseball.
I was going to say, Kyle Freeland wouldn't say hold my beer for a second. What was
it was yeah, it was a rough one. He actually threw the ball extremely well on the road. 3.67 ERA. I mean, like I said, it's pretty standard for any Colorado Rockies pitcher. Beautiful stadium, nice city, but you wouldn't mind pitching on the road. If you could pick more starts on the road or home, you certainly would take him away from Coors Field. There they are. All the numbers, not surprising. Now, the good news is, you see his record. 5-2, even though he had that ERA up above 6. They did do a nice job winning his games. Of course, the other pitcher also has to pitch in Coors Field when you're there. And you know, a lot of those games will turn into slugfest, and it becomes about survival when you're a Rocky starting pitcher. Can you outlast the other guy? Can you at least keep your team in the ball game, even though there's a lot of back and forth more often than not?
2-2. And Andrews strikes out swinging, 2 away.
This looked like the slider for Marquez. I mentioned the curveball. He does a nice job of finishing off hitters with that one. But the velocity here, and you see that side grip, about 87 miles an hour. Expanding the zone, a little bit more horizontal movement. As that one goes side to side, Elvis can't lay off of it.
Well, Danny Santana now. And he goes after that first fastball, strike one. Switch hitting Santana today with a start in center field. And you see the incredible numbers he posted last year, 28 home runs. 0-2 the count. He quadrupled his previous season high in home runs last year. I mean, just a ridiculous year for him.
What a difference a year makes, right? Danny Santana not even on this team last year on opening day.
He strikes out on 3 pitches. And Marquez very sharp in his half of the first. A scoreless first inning for both clubs. And the opening day starter, maybe the foundation of this staff, Lance Lynn, back out for second inning of work. Presented by Taco Bell. We are back inside Globe Life Field. Boy, I tell you what, even driving down today, reminded of the searing heat that is the Metroplex this time of year. And then you get inside, and it is such an incredible relief. All right, Lynn looked pretty good in his first inning. Daniel Murphy leading things off for the Rockies, and he will take strike 1. Veteran left-handed hitter. In fact, the rest of the lineup for the Rockies, from Murphy down through Tony Wolters, will all be left-handed hitters. Pop up, back of second, out into shallow center field. In comes Santana. He'll take control. 1 out.
Yeah, very interesting lineup that they have here in Colorado. Only 2 natural righties. Now it's against a right-handed pitcher. And if you see a lefty, that number would obviously go up a little bit. But this is the lineup that Bud Black, you see him right there, manager of the Rockies, is thrown out there. And for Lance Lynn, he did dominate righties a little bit more than he did the left-handers last year, but still did a very nice job. 267 against the lefties, 219 against those righties.
Lynn's first offering, that one deemed just a little bit low on McMahon. Ryan McMahon, and here's a guy whose name recognition might not match some of the others in this lineup, but man, he's a dangerous hitter. One and one the count. McMahon's a guy who, well, several years back was a third baseman who was pretty well blocked in Colorado and learned to play second base, can play a little bit of first as well. I'll take inside 2 and 1. They have basically worked a way to get his bat in the lineup. Really good athlete, recruited as a quarterback out of high school, could play college football just about anywhere. 2-1. He takes very high. Now, the Rockies, kind of an important year for this Colorado team. 2 years ago, felt like they were very much on the right track and headed toward maybe even unseating the Dodgers from their perch atop the National League West, but a really disappointing step in the wrong direction last year. And then that led to some off-season strife where they really had to consider what their relationship was with their superstar and cornerstone player Nolan Arenado. You know, they settled everything down, but now it does make this year a really important year for them. The payoff pitch. Lynn gets the outside corner, strike 3 called. Now, McMahon would argue differently, as you can see, and it was close.
So he may have a little bit of an argument. You see Robinson Chirinos setting up kind of middle in, but look at the subtle movement as well from Chirinos, which is so important for a catcher as we talk about framing. You don't want to have too much movement. He knew that pitch was borderline, so he tilts the glove down just a little bit. Very subtle movement to essentially try to steal that strike, which I think he did. It's a nice job by Robinson Chirinos.
A third strikeout now for Lynn. He'll deal a little high now to Raimel Tapia. Tapia today the designated hitter. He'll play some left field as well. Cubs ahead 2-0. Tapia, you know, like really a number of Rockies hitters, he's up there to hit. The old school terminology, you know, he's a free swinger. And obviously Lynn's trying to bait him, everything out of the zone. Last year, Tapia swung at a little better than 43% of pitches outside of the zone. So, I mean, he's an exciting, talented player, but they're looking for a little more discipline. I'll take one on the corner, 3-1.
Yeah, that chase rate, that's well above league average, and certainly something that would be concerning. Now, not uncommon for some guys as they first come into the league to be a little bit aggressive, but to put it in perspective, league average is about 33% on that chase rate, so 10% higher than what the league is doing. It's not that sustainable unless you're bringing a ton of power to the table, and that's when you can live with that a little bit more.
Well, he does earn the walk. It's a 2-out base runner. All right, Sam Hilliard. Really good young player, 26 years old. Last year in his big league debut did not disappoint. 7 home runs in 27 games. He grew up a Rangers fan just south of here in Mansfield, Texas. And he goes right after the first pitch.
A lot of these fastballs that we have seen from Lance Lynn, pretty steady on the outside part of the plate. Now, you mentioned Tapia and how he is the guy that chases. Of this lineup of the 9 Rockies that are in there right now, Hilliard has the best discipline. That was a shorter season for him, just 87 plate appearances that he had. But of all the great bats that they have in this lineup, he was the guy that was the most disciplined when it came to chasing pitches out of the zone.
Just off the plate. Play all 3 outfield positions for them. Originally drafted as a pitcher. Big kid. I mean, he's 6'5", like 235 pounds. He can run. Did he go? Yes, he did. On appeal down to third base. John Libka rings him up. That's strike 2.
Take a look at this, a side view. Did he go around? Did he offer at the pitch? And he absolutely did. That's a good call. Looks like that Lance Lynn fastball right now at the top of the zone looks good coming into these hitters. We've seen a couple of swings and misses. We just saw that check swing, but they can't seem to catch up to it.
All right, Lynn looking for his 4th strikeout, and that's not going to get it done. That might be his hardest fastball of the night. But it missed considerably. 2-2 the count now on Hilliard.
That is correct. 97 miles an hour. He's been 92 to 97 with his fastball tonight.
I was going to say, looks just like the same Lance Lynn we saw last year, but then that's not true. He's got that huge beard. Swing and a miss, and he does rack up his 4th strikeout. 4 Ks through 2 innings for Lynn. Now can the Rangers get the offense started? They'll turn to their best. Joey Gallo leads it off when we come back. Off here, and Joey making his 4th opening day start at his 4th position. Really remarkable. Several years ago at third, first base, left field, and now today as a right fielder. That's not an easy accomplishment, but it says a little something about how much a team values your bat.
When it's not like he was at any of those positions and looked at as a guy that you're just trying to hide either, right? I mean, he's an impact player defensively.
Well, he goes after that first pitch and a high pop-up. How do the Rockies handle the roof? Well, okay. 1 away. Let's check in with Emily Jones.
Yeah, my 16th opening day. This is the first time I will go home not smelling like recess. And you know why? It's because we have a roof. It's 72 degrees in here because we have a roof, a retractable roof that weighs 24 million pounds, covers 5.5 acres. can be opened or closed with the push of a button in about 10 to 12 minutes. It is a glorious thing. I cannot wait for our fans to experience this, especially on a hot summer day game. Guys, it makes a world of difference.
Yes, it does.
Well, it's been amazing. You mentioned coming here today from the outside and coming in just from that air conditioner hits you in the face when you walk through the door is a beautiful thing. Do we know how tall the rafters are? I know we talked about the scoreboard the other day. We did one of the exhibition games, and I know it's not the same distance, so maybe that's why we don't have that information. But
to the ceiling?
Yeah,
or to the top of the roof?
In the middle of the field. Obviously, you get closer to the foul lines and closer to the stands, they come down a little bit.
Oh, so the lower, the hanging.
Yeah, the lowest
whatever.
rafter, essentially, like kind of over the middle of the field. I asked that question because I was thinking about how high did Joey Gallo hit that baseball. That one got up there.
Yeah.
And I mean, if anybody can reach, it's going to be Joey Gallo. But that was pretty amazing.
Rugi pounds one in the dirt, and that little 1-3 put out is the second out of the inning. Well, so okay, it'll keep you a little cooler in here, right? Big deal. They play baseball outside everywhere, but not like they do here. At the opening of Globe Life Park across the street until today, those are the numbers of games at 90 degrees or better at start time. And you're talking, you know, by factors of many more than anybody else. The heat was an absolute issue here. And this roof, a godsend.
What was that number, 762?
Something like that, yeah.
So that's how many times you could wear a polo shirt across the street, right? We had a 90-degree rule. Game time temperature, 90 degrees or higher. And you were allowed to wear the polo short sleeve shirt. That's out the window because it'll never be 90 degrees in here. So it's all about, and you look super excited about it. Shirt and tie and jackets, buddy.
Yeah. Yeah, well.
Back to Catholic high school for me and grade school.
Yeah.
I went 12 years wearing a tie. This is easy.
Yes, I'm not really well trained in this part of it. I've pretty much, for the entirety of my life, gone with the T-shirt and shorts.
I know. I saw some of your Zooms this offseason. You're not lying.
No, and I'll dial it into a couple of T-shirts and a couple pair of shorts for a good several months or maybe a couple of years. But so it is. We wear dress shirts and ties for these things. All part of the gig, I guess. Marquez, by the way, looking pretty good. The 1-2. Frazier fights him off to keep the at-bat going.
So good acquisition here for the Texas Rangers and Todd Frazier as a free agent. I think when he first signed here, a lot of us thought that he'd be playing third base. We expected to see somewhat of a battle over at first between Greg Bird and Ronald Guzman, but the emergence of Isaiah Kiner-Falefa and the flexibility of Frazier allowed him to go to first.
Hooks that one down to third, where Nolan Arenado and his 7 Gold Gloves wait. A 1-2-3, bottom of the second for the Rangers. So we head to the third inning. This beautiful new ballpark. No score.
Gives us an opportunity for our Taco Bell take. And last year, Lance Lynn, for those of you that remember, closed out the ballpark across the street, Globe Life Park. He pitched that final game, picked up a win against his former team, the New York Yankees. And so now a connection to this ballpark as he gets his first ever career opening day start. He does it against, of course, these Rockies in this brand new ballpark. So kind of cool to see him make that last start at the old ballpark and then the first start in the new ballpark. I think that's trivia question material.
Yeah.
Down the road, especially 10, 15 years from now.
Tony Wolters leading it off here in the third inning. Shoots that one foul. 1-1. And Wolters, a defense first catcher, but really had a nice year offensively last year. He played a lot, in over 120 games. So the idea this year is maybe to just pull that workload back a little bit for him. Let's see if they might even get more production out of him. The power, Yeah, that's not a big part of the game for Walters.
No, and it's rare, right? If you're going to get a catcher who does good things behind the plate, good defensively, but then also can hit, right? Those guys are few and far between. Of course, we were spoiled here for years with Pudge Rodriguez. There's not too many of them. Like, it's usually more often than not, especially some of those guys that can slug. You think about Mike Piazza and others that weren't necessarily known as good defensive catchers. I'd say JT Realmuto is one of those guys. Molina's been one of those guys. They are few and far between.
Wins 2-2. Walters giving him a little battle here.
Certainly making Lance Lynn work, as all of these Rockies are right now. There's Pudge, the former First Lady. 43 pitches, 44 coming up now in 2+ innings for Lance Lynn.
Yeah, pitches as a part of the workload for Lynn, usually not much of an issue, but that's a big number. Swing and a miss. He picks up his 5th strikeout. One away.
Take a look at another fastball here, elevated from Lance Lynn to finish off one of these Rockies hitters, and pretty much exactly where Robinson Chirinos wanted it. See everything up and away with a lot of these heaters in that at bat. Looked like he might even foul tipped it a little bit. You mentioned the pitch counts, and you're right. I don't know how you feel about streaks when they go from one year to another.
Not great.
You know what I mean, generally. But for Lance Lynn right now, he does have an active streak of throwing at least 100 pitches. And now it's 24. Well, it's 24 starts right now. Pretty good chance he gets there tonight. That is also the longest active streak in baseball. 24 straight starts with at least 100 pitches thrown.
Yeah, he averaged just a smidge less than 108 pitches per start last year. There were only 2 starts where he did not throw at least 100 pitches last year. The head of Dahl, 0-2.
He's a workhorse, no two ways about it. And especially because he's throwing a lot of fastballs, he's throwing them firm. It's not necessarily the sense at max effort where his body's all over the place, but you know he's letting it go with every single fastball that he throws.
Well, he got Dahl swinging in the 1st inning and has him on the defensive here. Lance, a big guy, 6'5", 250 pounds. There's 0-2 in the air, out of a third, and it drops in for the first base hit of the ball game. Dahl is aboard for the Rockies, 1 out here in the 3rd inning.
He did not hit it particularly hard. You get a look at the cutter from Lance Lynn. Pretty good pitch. I mean, it's in, it's belt high. It's where he wanted it. He wasn't trying to bury it for necessarily a swing and a miss. He got weak contact. Just kind of hit it in the right spot. So with all the firsts, right? The first official base hit in this ballpark.
Dahl with a decent lead, but not going anywhere. First pitch. And Jim Wolf said on appeal that Story held off. I thought the pitch itself was pretty good. Apparently a little bit high. Story walked, stole a base in that 1st inning. And he holds off and takes a strike here.
That's a good looking pitch at 88 miles an hour from Lance Lynn. No Story's a good fastball hitter. We know about the power. Be ahead in the count. Watch this cutter slash slider kind of finish on the outside corner. That grip, when you look at it in slow motion like that, looks a little bit more like a slider grip, but because there's not a lot of downward break, the pitch has a tendency to classify. Now that one did, but the previous one will classify more as a cutter because it stays flat and it's harder. But that one at 83 miles an hour with some depth to it is a slider.
Well, Lynn up over 50 pitches now. He might trade a strikeout for a ground ball right here. That one pulled just foul. Mentioned Lance making his first opening day start. He came up with the St. Louis Cardinals, made his debut in 2011, was an 18-game winner the next year. But he pitched in some Cardinals rotation that had some star power to it. Chris Carpenter's and Adam Wainwright's typically got that opening day nod over him. The 2-2 upstairs. Story, what a good at bat his first time up, earning that walk and battling again here. And even for all of his power, and I would even say relative to his power, he might be as disciplined a big power hitter as there is. 3-2 outside, ball 4, takes his second walk. Gives us a moment now for a Chevy game break.
Yeah, Dave, in the season opener last night, Giancarlo Stanton starts off with a bang. 459 feet off Max Scherzer. Yankees beat the Nationals 4-1 in a game canceled in the 6th inning by a monsoon, guys.
Yeah, no kidding. That thing was incredible.
They were lucky they got that in. They were concerned that that game might have been delayed to start, and as much as it rained, there was no way they were going to be able to play it. And something different this year, of course, you're familiar with the idea of how things usually would work in baseball. If it rains before the 5th inning, the game would be canceled and you'd replay it. That is no longer. If the game gets suspended because of rain and you only played, say, 3 innings, you will pick that game up from where you left it off. One of the many changes that we have this year in the game and kind of dealing with the shortened schedule and the coronavirus and everything else. But that was also a complete game 1 hitter.
Yeah.
For Garrett Cole, who made his debut with the Yankees last night. Good to see him out of this division. Yeah. Even though the Rangers actually did a nice job against him last year. Remember the beginning of the season, he got off to a slow start. The Rangers beat him up a couple of times, so maybe they don't miss him, or maybe they do, I should say.
That season opening series here pounded some lumps on him. Blackman in the air out to right. Gallo is there. Dahl tags at second, but he will hold as a strong throw to third base. A good deterrent. 2 away. Well, just because you're not at the ballpark doesn't mean you can't snag a foul ball this year. In fact, all you have to do is play the Choctaw Swipe and Win on the MLB Ballpark app for your chance to get a ball from one of our games. Download the MLB Ballpark app today. You must have downloaded that yesterday. I noticed you got your first foul ball already today.
I did, making my way around. Took a lap around the ballpark today, kind of at our level up here. I mean, amazing views from so many different spots. I mentioned to you the other day about, with the foul balls that go in the stands, we just turned into a big Easter egg hunt. So I went on an Easter egg hunt today and came up with a baseball. But we did not get official summer camp balls. So
right.
the baseball that I found, I was like, is baseball MLB going to take it all the way to the next level and change the logos and everything else? But it was actually just a regular spring training baseball. I mean, it's still a good baseball, rubbed up all the other good things, but I was wondering if there was going to be something unique about it. But you see it there, still the 2020 official spring training with the Arizona logo on it as well. Cactus League, of course, even though we are in.
Oh,
come on, catch it, Dave.
Come on.
It's probably better off that way.
Arenado popped up in the first inning. He's 0 for 1. Lynn dealing with a little traffic in this third inning. The 2-0. And he finds the bottom of the zone there for strike 1.
So we have this really fun tool. It's a little bit overwhelming, throws a ton of metrics at you that Major League Baseball has provided for us. I am trying to find, and I cannot, how hard Joey Gallo threw that baseball.
Oh, yeah.
As he let that thing fly, maybe a little bit amped up here because it's opening day. But I don't have it yet. This can be overwhelming and distracting. There's a lot of information in here. Probably too much.
Well, pop up near second base for Odor. And he sticks with it. The inning is done. Rockies leave a couple more. They've stranded 4 so far. Rangers still looking for their first base runner tonight. It has been. Hey, T-Mobile is your ticket to the game. Now through August 3rd, customers can score free MLB TV at T-Mobile.com/MLB.
I did find it. 94 miles an hour on that throw from Joey Gallo.
Oh, okay.
I thought it would have been a little higher. He looked like he threw an absolute seed. A little bit offline, but he really let it go.
Yeah. Well, bottom of the 3rd, and it's the bottom 3rd of the order for the Rangers. And Chirinos fouls that one. Like maybe off his leg or foot for strike 1.
Good to see that right-handed swing of Robinson Chirinos back in a Rangers uniform, and good to see that didn't hurt him. That hit him in his right thigh. Foul ball off the right thigh, not something you'll see too often.
Got in on him a little. Marquez comes right back with strike 2. 0-2 the count. 7th straight year for Chirinos on an opening day roster. Last year with Houston. Previous 6 with the Rangers. The 0-2 pitch, and this one he pulls just foul.
Oh, interesting. That's one of the things we'll get to see, right? Different bounces and whatnot. That area down there is covered by a net, right? It's hard to tell from here. I think it is. I don't think you can hit a line drive.
Into that I don't know,
yeah,
little bar area down there. Yes. That's not the first time we've seen Marquez skip one in front of the plate and by several feet.
But he'll do that with his breaking ball. I mentioned that's kind of the go-to pitch. It's very important to his success, and he's got tremendous spin rate on that curveball, but also it's the location. He does get hitters to expand the zone because it's a pretty tight breaking ball.
And he strikes out Chirinos. 3rd strikeout tonight for Marquez. 1 away.
Now this was the slider here against Chirinos after we saw the breaking ball. This one, which is also considered a breaking ball, but harder and tighter, not nearly as much movement, but a pretty well located pitch.
So Nick Solak, and he'll take one low. Well, kind of a cool moment for Solak on an opening day roster for the first time in his career, and in the opening day starting lineup. Made his debut with the Rangers last season.
You know, definitely one of the young, exciting hitters that we got to see last year with the Rangers, and certainly looks like a piece going forward here that will be important to the lineup. We know that he can hit. Him and Willie Calhoun, I kind of put in that category together of 2 young hitters that should be here with the Rangers for a while, that look like they can be impactful with what they do offensively.
2-1. Chopped left side of the infield, and Arenado had plenty of time. Throws out Solak, 2 away. Gives us a moment now to check in with Kia.
Come on, America. Let's road trip. Trade up to a new Kia.
All right, it's up to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. See if the Rangers can get somebody on base that first time through the order against German Marquez. 25-year-old right-hander, and he pumps that one right in there for a strike at 97 miles per hour. Wastes little time and gets ahead 0-2. Marquez last year got, was injured in late August and missed the rest of the season. August 22nd, had some soreness in his right forearm and triceps. At the time, he led the Rockies with 174 innings, had 175 strikeouts. That's just in 2-2.
And it was in. Marquez trying to make it look like a strike, not so much because of the pitch, but the sales pitch afterwards.
It's 2-2. Upstairs. So at the time, in August, when he was hurt last year, he was leading the National League in innings pitched. I mentioned he was 174 innings. No other Rocky starter topped 150 last year.
And listen, these days 175 innings is pretty good. He was, like you said, on his way to probably a 200 inning pitch season.
Well, he now deals with his first base runner. He walks Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and he gives Chu a shot. Chu promised us he'd be swinging first pitch, wanting to get the first hit as a Ranger in this ballpark's history. He ended up flying out to left field.
I mean, you know, if that's on his mind, right, that he wants to be the guy, and it doesn't happen in his first plate appearance, he's thinking he's done.
Sure.
And now he's not excited that they don't have any hits, but he is excited he gets the chance to be the guy again.
This time he takes just a bit high. Now he'd be a good candidate. I meant to play that game with you before we started today. Who'd hit the first home run?
Yeah.
Who'd get the first hit?
We got time if you want to make it all Ranger stuff. I'll take Chu with the first double right here. Oh.
1-1. Kind of like Chu to take care of both those things right here, the first hit and the first home run.
We saw some home runs in the exhibition games, those two against the Colorado Rockies. Unfortunately, we saw too many Rockies home runs in those two games. Todd Frazier hit the lone home run for the Rangers. And an opposite field shot that he didn't know where the ball went. He thought it might have went in the stands. He was kind of looking around like, where is it? And it just barely cleared the fence on the right field line.
Well, the 2-1. That will even the count. Chu had a big year last year in terms of home runs. 23 of them, career best for him. Time called. I believe Chu just celebrated his 38th birthday about a week or so ago. Two pitch and strike three called. Marquez picks up his fourth K of the evening. We've played 3 innings so far tonight, no score.
I am from Texas, stationed in Germany. Shout out to all my friends and family watching the game back home. Go Texas Rangers.
Thank you, sir. American military personnel serving overseas are watching this game tonight on AFN, the American Forces Network, and we welcome all of those of you in countries around the world or aboard naval ships at sea. Thank you so much for your service.
I thought we were going to drop a dunk of Shane on him, maybe.
Yeah,
no
not as well versed. Well, Lynn, in this fourth inning, this could be a kind of an important inning for him. Pitch count elevated. He's yet to find one of those 1, 2, 3 innings tonight. He gets Murphy, McMahon, and Tapia. 5, 6, and 7 for the Rockies in this fourth inning. One the count on Murphy.
And like that, Lance Lynn looking down at his finger after the fact, hopefully not developing any kind of blister or anything like that. That you see the way the ball came out of his hand, he kind of released it slowly, immediately looked down at his hand, continued to look at it. That's one of those things that I don't want to say it'll be a non-issue. Things certainly come up over the course of the season, but sometimes going from a completely different atmosphere, right? Having spring training in Arizona the entire time, then coming here to Texas just for a little while. Sometimes your hands will maybe have a difficult time adjusting. You worry about little things like blisters. Hopefully that was not what he was looking down at.
1-2. Blisters so frustrating because they are such little things, and yet incredibly negative impact for a pitcher. I mean, you know, that can put a guy on the shelf for a little while. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Daniel Murphy. Well, Lynn has battled a little bit tonight. As long as the count full here, he's had to work around a lot of base runners. It's just that command, you know, I think we're used to seeing him in that strike zone quite a bit, and tonight he hasn't been as efficiently in the zone.
No, absolutely. We're used to seeing him fill up the strike zone. Just 55% strikes tonight so far for Lance Lynn.
I'll have to throw another one here to Daniel Murphy.
The league average is usually around 63%. Last year for Lynn, he was 64, so just a tick above that league average. But you're right. And now he doesn't look like he's overthrowing, but we do see him missing on that arm side. I mentioned arm side up, some pitches away.
Payoff pitch, and that misses. 4th walk.
And that really wasn't an issue for Lance Lynn last year. He did a very nice job overall. 2.6 walks per 9 for him. He only had 2 starts last year where he walked more than 3. You mentioned 4 tonight so far. In both of those outings, one was in May, one was in August, he had walked 5 against the Twins and the Blue Jays. But every other start for Lance Lynn last year, 3 walks or less.
Now, Ryan McMahon struck out looking earlier tonight. He's 0 for 1, and then again up and out on that arm side for ball 1. I said earlier that Lynn would happily give up a strikeout for a ground ball and a chance at a double play. That was when he was dealing with some traffic in the 3rd inning. He hasn't gotten a ground ball tonight. All strikeouts, flyouts, the occasional pop-up.
Yep, I think because of the elevated fastball, right? That's where he's gone for his swings and misses. When he doesn't get them, more often than not, those batted balls will result in fly balls. But you know, he's league average on ground balls last year. I mean, it wasn't that he's so dramatically a fly ball pitcher. Not too much below that league average. But he's starting to look like a little bit uncomfortable. I don't know if it was when we saw him look at his finger. Robinson Chirinos certainly has picked up on it.
2-1 the count. Yeah, well, they're good on the bench at noticing these types of things. No doubt Chirinos dialed in on whatever it is. But I would say just by the little bit of body language we're seeing this inning, yeah, just keeping a close eye on that right hand and what he's doing with it. It doesn't quite look right. Oh, Chirinos takes a shot there. 2-2.
14 fastball looked like man just got under it. You see it there in that foul tip. Oh, I thought that hit him directly in the chest. Actually hit that left arm first. I think it might have caught him through the bicep and then hit him. Nice job by Jim Reynolds to make sure that he gives Robinson Chirinos a little bit of time there after that foul tip. So I was thinking, it was about 4 or 5 pitches ago. Oh, there they are. I couldn't find when Chirinos looked like he wanted to go out there before he did. I said, oh, where are the mound visits on the scoreboard? Did you see him right away, or did you already see him previously?
No, they're that circle next to the,
You just looked and saw it?
Yeah.
I looked at it for 3 minutes. I couldn't find it. I mean, it's right there in the middle of the scoreboard. with a big circle. I'm like, oh, I wonder if Chuck forgot to put those up there.
This one fouled down the right side. And really well positioned. Right down the line there, and able to take that foul ball and throw it out of play.
So they said no bat and ball girls this year, right? Was kind of part of what was going on. But there are people down there getting the foul balls. Do you think it's what, team employees or people that are here all the time
grounds
that are
crew, probably,
already
like
in the kind of germ circle? I haven't noticed what they're doing for Bat Boy yet. Have you?
I guess I haven't. Foul away again. Stays 2-2 on McMahon.
Well, there's the Bat Boy with full uniform. I just don't know if it's from the same pool of usual Bat Boys.
I thought that was a thing that we were going to go without this year.
Well, somebody's got to get the bat.
Well,
right?
Could be the next hitter.
Nolan Arenado's not picking that bat up.
I might have to. Apparently not.
Yeah.
I thought that was part of the bargain this year. 2-2. Boy, McMahon is a pest.
Yeah, he certainly is. Remember, we were talking about the good job that he did last year. It was very limited. I take that back. I'm sorry. 539 plate appearances for him. But he did a nice job. 4.2 pitches per plate appearance. It's a good number. One of the best that the Rockies saw last season.
Well, we'll try it again. Here it comes. A swing and a miss. Strike 3. Against McMahon for the second time tonight. 6th strikeout for Lynn.
A nice battle won there by Lance Lynn. This was not an easy one, and these Rockies hitters continued to make him work. But again, there's that life, that natural kind of cut. You see an off-centered grip right there on a four-seamer. He could not catch up to it up and in. That is a perfectly located pitch by Lance Lynn.
All right, Tapia, who worked a walk back in the second inning. And he takes ball 1. You remember in that at bat in the second, Lynn tried to get him to chase anything off the plate outside and fell behind 3-0, and he's trying again, at least based on the first offering, to see if he can get him to expand a little bit outside. That time put it in the zone, and Tapia came up empty. Well, it's been a battle tonight for Lance. Closing in on 80 pitches. Swing and a miss.
Well, the velocity is still good. Life is still good.
Hey, Chris Woodward, you know, indicated that he's not going to have a real tight pitch count on Lynn, or for that matter, any of his starters. Felt like they've stretched themselves out. They stayed in shape during the layoff. And they've been throwing in excess of 100 pitches when they've gone out recently. The 1-2 just missed.
He tried to get that call, and you mentioned Tapia knowing that he's the guy that'll expand a little bit. He did a nice job of laying off that pitch, because we've also seen some pitches that are close to the corners and maybe off that have been called strikes tonight.
All right, Murphy at first. Lynn's 2-2. And that one out to shortstop. Andrews snares the liner, throws back to first, but Murphy in there easily. 2 away.
So this is a fastball that gets kind of all up in the kitchen. And Tapia, not really much of a chance there. I like Todd Frazier keeping the tag on, maybe trying to push Daniel Murphy off that base a little bit.
All right, Sam Hilliard.
So heavy shift here. I think that is inaccurate. I believe that Kiner Falefa is actually in right field where it says Odor. Right? Because Elvis is still at short and Rugi is still at second. You have your telescope?
Yep.
Look
It
through
is. You're right.
He is way out there.
Well, he's young. He can
Boom.
traverse that ground. There we go.
That's how we get stuff done around here, Dave Raymond. Fixed. Isaiah Kiner Falefa, the third baseman in short right field. The Rangers last year did a pretty good job. They were 19th in shifts used overall last year, but plus 26 when we look at hits given up compared to hits taken away. They did a nice job with their ratio.
Caught a corner, 2-1.
And no team is in the negatives. Every team is a positive, even if you don't shift that much. 2 years ago, I think it was the Padres that might have finished at like a -2, which is essentially means they gave up more hits because of the shift than they took away.
To one pitch, and Hilliard fights it off.
All right, so you were quick to pick up on where the remaining mound visits are on the scoreboard. How about the bottom of the scoreboard? Have you seen what they're throwing out there?
Oh, no, I did not notice that.
You're
Small
gonna have to
font.
get your glossary out.
Induced vertical break.
I don't know if I've ever heard that phrase before. As much as I work hard to try to keep up with the trends in the game.
Oh, a swing and a miss. Picked out of the dirt by Chirinos. Another strikeout for Lynn. 7 strikeouts through 4 innings. So the big right-hander is dealing. Now can the offense make an appearance here tonight?
To change that in short order. And we started a little thing in the exhibition games where I provided like a behind the scenes picture courtesy of one of the guys. Elvis was kind enough to provide a picture today. And it was him and Rougned Odor, Robinson Chirinos, and you could see kind of in the background a little photo bomb from Frazier, but I can't tell if you can really make him out, but I'm pretty sure that's
Oh yeah,
who
we
it
can
is.
see him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
working hard. You can tell he wants to be part of the group.
He was,
No
yeah.
doubt.
So again, you know, we're gonna see if this picks up any momentum. Some pictures come with, you know, guys. Some pictures are just settings of different areas in the clubhouse. So that was the meal room and a couple of the guys getting ready for opening day. So big ups to Elvis for sending me that.
So that part is awesome. Who's going to be the first guy to send you a landscape picture?
Okay,
One
yeah.
time.
So apparently that's a big deal, right?
I don't say it's a big deal. It just
Well,
would be
no,
nice.
according to our producer Mike Dressman, it's a big deal. So
kind
I
of a
need
big
to
deal.
tell them to turn their camera, like you're
Yeah.
talking to a complete moron in terms of the stuff. So I need to tell them to turn it sideways.
Sideways, yeah. Long ways maybe helps.
Dave, don't
Horizontal.
act like you know all about this.
Yeah,
What?
come on.
Listen, anybody who takes a picture with their phone, you got to do it landscape.
What?
Yeah.
Turn it sideways. Let's go
Yep.
one time.
Not
When
a
did
fan
you
of the
guys
portrait picture.
become like
Unless
social
you're,
media?
well,
Hey, do it for the gram.
if you're but that's wrong, Dave, because you're
Oh,
posting on
no.
Instagram, you got to be in portrait.
Shoot, I was just trying to.
Because those are those pictures, I believe, are square or whatever. They're not, you know, whatever it is.
I just don't appreciate Dave you chiming in like this was a common knowledge. Like, oh yeah,
I
you got to do
think
that.
it is. This ball well struck. Deep center field, but tracked down by Dahl, who, as
So,
I understand it, always takes his pictures landscape.
You probably take the least amount of pictures between the three of us. Does Emily have like her own suite? What's going on?
Of course she does.
It's amazing. You got your own room.
Yeah, so
Center field
I'm
camera shot.
I'm actually like right next to you guys.
Oh,
Hey, how's it going?
well, there you are.
I do want to know, how can you tell that they didn't shoot it in landscape? That's how CJ.
Because although, if you notice on each side of the picture, it was just kind of blacked out. Because if we wanted to get the whole picture on the screen, then it doesn't fit.
God, I never paid attention to that.
Yeah. But now, depends. A lot of people like to lock their phone so that when they turn their phone, the picture doesn't turn. So that also matters. So it's a two-step process. Could
Okay.
potentially. Yeah.
I will communicate this to the players, but the fact that I don't even really understand what's going on,
I don't
it's
know that I
difficult for
would.
me to do that.
Just put Dave's name on it, please. That's all.
I think I'd probably just keep that little tidbit tucked away and save it for another time. Down the left field line, hanging up a little bit. Tracked down just in front of the wall by Hilliard, and Santana with the long out. So a couple of well-struck balls this inning, but nothing doing.
Yeah, so no help obviously with wind in here. There's no jet stream now at the new Globe Life Field. Danny Santana goes up and gets that high fastball. He put a good swing on it, drove it, just got under it a little bit. See right in front of that 334 sign. And of course Marquez is like, well, it's a good thing we're on the road because that's 20 rows deep at home in Colorado.
Well, he's been pretty stingy so far. Rangers have had just one base runner. But here's Gallo. Takes a big rip. Strike one.
Yeah, let's go ahead and get to our Frontier Communications analytics right now. And it's fun to do this with Joey because of how hard he hits the ball, how far he hits it. And last year, you see that distance, average distance of just over 260 feet. That was the best in baseball. Hit the baseball almost as hard as anybody, at 95 miles an hour on average. I actually had a little Joey Gallo trivia question for you. So the last game Joey Gallo played in the major leagues prior to tonight, as you take a look at the rest of those metrics, was on July 23rd.
Yeah. A year ago yesterday.
Today is July 24th. So how many days has it been since Joey Gallo last played in a Major League Baseball game?
So now I feel like that's a trick question.
It's a pretty simple question.
Can I get it within?
No, you have to get it exactly.
So
come on, it's not that hard.
366 days.
That's incorrect, Dave. That is incorrect.
365 days?
That is also incorrect. Joey Gallo last played in a Major League game on July 23rd, 2019.
Okay.
He's playing tonight, which is July 24th, 2020.
Okay. Ground ball. Ooh, bobbled. Story very sure-handed at short, but didn't get a handle of that one, and the Rangers have a base runner on the error.
What do you think? Is it going to be an error for sure?
I think so.
I would say so as well. Two-seam fastball running away, pretty well located. That's why Joey Gallo hit it off the end of the bat, running away from him. Hit it hard. He probably should have fielded that cleanly. Mason Story, a pretty good defender. It's kind of in and out of the glove. But I just wonder about a backhand play, having to throw across your body. Have they made an announcement yet? They have not. Will that be the first hit for a Ranger in Globe Life Field? And if you were the official scorer, would that make you think differently about how you score because you'd like that first hit to be a little better?
It shouldn't affect it, but it shouldn't really be debatable. There's Odor now. It's a little bit high.
So they ruled it an error, but I thought it was debatable.
Yeah.
Anyway, you're running out of time here.
Well, look, from July 23rd to July 23rd, that's 365 days, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
I mean, there are people right now sitting at home going, "You dummy." I love it. And you're so worked up you cannot figure it out. I knew you weren't going to be able to, because really smart people forget stuff like this.
He's playing today.
That's right.
And if he went 365 days without playing a game,
you would think +1 should be 366, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Was there a leap in there?
Mike Dressman got it right. The answer is 367 days, Dave, because it indeed was a leap year. I knew you wouldn't get it. Book smarts, not so much street smarts.
Well, I guess. 3-0. And there's ball 4. Really. Rugi never saw a pitch to hit. A couple of 2-out base runners. So this was 360 some odd days ago. And you remember, I was going through this morning with our producer Mike Dressman, who reminded me that it was a leap year. But we were trying to figure out, like, well, there wasn't an incident. It's not like he got hit by a pitch. And I remember, kind of like Lance Lynn tonight, right? He was looking at his hand, shaking his hand. We were wondering if something was going on, and sure enough, it was. He broke the hamate. And then, of course, right as about he was ready to come back is when he pulled his oblique, which caused him to miss the remainder of the season. Todd Frazier now with a spot here for the Rangers. They have not had a run-scoring opportunity until just now. Gallo out at second, Odor at first. Could Frazier, the newest Ranger, deliver the first Rangers hit in this new ballpark? Marquez a little bit outside, 1-1.
So right man, right spot. Overall, Todd Frazier last year hit .251, had a nice year, 21 home runs. But when it came to these situations with runners in scoring position, he hit .301. Never known necessarily as a high batting average guy, but it was a good season last year for Todd Frazier in these spots when he got those opportunities.
Snap throw down to first, but not a great throw, and Odor was able to get back in there.
Daniel Murphy looked like he had fun trying to catch that ball. Now they had a chance. Rugi was getting a little bit aggressive and unnecessarily, because well, it was part of having that huge lead because of the shift. So this was probably something that was planned ahead.
I don't think there was anything about that play that Murphy enjoyed.
No, he's like, let's not call that one anymore. Yeah. It's smart for Rougned Odor to get that really big lead, right? Go as far as the closest infielder that you can, right? Ball in the gap and chance to take an extra base.
Very close pitch. And now an advantageous count here for Frazier. Right, Gallo, big guy, but can move out at second base. Scoreless game, bottom of the fourth. Marquez ready. And that's ball 4. They are loaded up. A 2-out error and back-to-back walks. And Marquez not likely to go real deep in this game anyway. This little 2-out rally, if you will, may shorten his evening by an inning. There was roughly a 75 pitch expectation for Marquez tonight, so he's had to blow some really critical extra pitches here, and they're doing gymnastics down in the bullpen.
A lot of people down there. 10-man bullpen right now for the Colorado Rockies. I guess technically you could say the Rangers also have 10. They announced today that Jordan Lyles would not make his first start because of all the off days. Lance Lynn will actually start game number 5. Lyles will start game number 8, it looks like. That does technically mean he is available in the bullpen if they need him. So the Rangers sort of kind of have also 10 relievers, and that'll be in the short term. This is a backwards year where Major League Baseball has decided that they'll start out with 30-man rosters. It'll drop down to 28 in 2 weeks, and then 26 2 weeks after that for the rest of the season.
Well, spot got just a little bit bigger here for the Rangers. Chirinos with a chance, bases loaded, 2 out. And he held off, ball 1. German Marquez, he's never lost an interleague game before. .15 starts, he's 7-0.
Wow.
And this one on the ground, right to McMahon, and the inning is over. Rangers threatened, but they leave them loaded. And we go to the 5th, no score. So far, we go to the 5th inning. You know, it's time to get your Rangers look in order. Stop by the all-new Grand Slam team store inside Globe Life Field. Add some powder blue or maybe some new logo designs to the wardrobe. The team store is open 7 days a week, validates parking, and it's located just inside the TXU Energy North entry adjacent to Texas Live. Hope you'll come check it out.
We were hoping for a grand slam last inning. Didn't happen. That would have been a nice moment. Right? Robinson Chirinos' first home run in this ballpark. Make it a grand slam to put the Rangers up 4-0.
Well, they were hoping to give a little run support to Lance Lynn, who starts the 5th inning at 85 pitches. It's a 9th place hitter, Tony Wolters, and he starts him off with ball 1. Opening day 2020. And that's fouled away. 1-1 the count.
Obviously didn't feel the same as all the other opening days
Nope.
in the past, and the fans are such a huge part of what makes opening day so special. All the optimism, how loud it is, all the introduction, everything that goes along with, first of all, I mean, opening a new ballpark, but then of course the first day of the season as well. That time will come. When, we're not exactly sure, but it'll happen.
Ooh, Lockett down to first, and Frazier positioned well, reels that one in, one away.
His ball was hit hard, but Todd Frazier, listen, we know that we were talking about it a little bit earlier, the idea that he's been a third baseman for most of his career, but Chris Woodward has been very happy with the defense. And it's a pretty easy play for him to make, obviously. And he treats it. It's so interesting. You hear some guys talk about moving to the other side of the infield and all the work that has to go into it, right? Because everything's backwards, whether it's going from third to first or short to second, and double plays are different. And no doubt all of that is true. Todd Frazier was like, nah, I'll just go. It's fine. Like, it didn't make it seem like it was
the other way.
Yeah, it's whatever it is, Didn't seem to make much of a big deal about it at all. And he caught that 100-mile-an-hour line drive with ease.
David Dahl has the only hit in this ballpark's history. It came in the 3rd inning. And it was just a little bloop.
Yeah.
It was almost more accidental than anything else. Well, you get a couple of good opening day starters going head to head, and that's, I suppose, the type of thing that can happen. 1-2 the count now on Dahl. Lynn has racked up 7 strikeouts so far tonight, including Dahl, who, while he does have the first hit in this ballpark's history, he was also the first strikeout victim in this ballpark's history. And he hits this ball hard over first, and that is a fair ball. Takes a weird hop off that corner of the stands, and he'll have an easy stand-up double.
So certainly worth noting right there, as you see, we take a look down the right field line and how this ball bounced over the wall, and it should be off the wall, and how important it is. First, the fastball that is up. That's not an easy pitch to hit at all. And watch how he keeps his hands above the baseball. Really important as you go after those high pitches. But watch this here. Look like it hit right on the line, and then you get that awkward kick. And this is something that will be worth keeping an eye on this year. You'll get that down either line. Now, that ball was barely fair, so it's not going to happen a ton, but it will happen. And so it becomes very important in that situation to make sure that your second baseman is moving toward the line when he sees a ball that's hit that is very close to being fair, because depending on where your outfielder is, think about if you have a shift going on and maybe Joey Gallo's in the left center gap, which should only be a double could potentially be a triple if your infielder is not going after that baseball.
Right.
And you'll see that down, like I said, either side. Left field, right field, doesn't matter. That's one of the quirky bounces in trying to figure out exactly what a new ballpark will play like for both the Rangers, who have seen a bunch of it, but especially for visitors.
Story has walked both times he's come to the plate tonight. Watch that one high, 1-1. Trevor Story, another guy with local ties, grew up in Irving, Texas. Big Rangers fan. His hero, Michael Young. Good guy to emulate. I'll take a strike, 1-2. There's Michael looking on.
Happens to be here tonight in full uniform.
And he's here every night. That number retired out in center field. Then taking a long look in. The 1-2. And got him looking. 8 strikeouts for Lynn.
Good looking pitch from Lance Lynn as he continues to grind. I mean, painted on the corner. You do see a little bit of movement there from Robinson Chirinos, but I'd say almost unnecessary. I think they get this call regardless of how Robinson makes it look. Give us an opportunity to get to our Ford leaderboard here. And as Lance Lynn, we see the strikeouts that he has been racking up here. How about the most strikeouts? These are pitches in the strike zone, right? It's one thing to get players to expand the strike zone. Last year, Lance Lynn getting a lot of those strikeouts within the strike zone. And Garrett Cole pretty much blowing the field away. But Lance Lynn in some very good company last year. Did you see in the notes most strikeouts in an opening day start? Was that on there? I thought I saw that
don't know.
today.
I did not see it.
There was one. I might have been on the Rocky side that I saw that. I kind of flipped through that real quickly. But I would think that Lance Lynn's got to be getting close. Would you say 8 right now?
8, yeah.
Oh, you know what? I take that back. Didn't Darvish have? He might have struck out like 12 or something in an opening day start.
Oh, this ball hit hard down the right field line. Strike 1. Well, that one kind of silenced the crowd.
It did. Scared him for a minute. Take a look at where this ball lands. You and I talked about this the other day. How far will baseballs be able to go in this ballpark? What will be some of the quirky things? That is tremendous camera work, by the way. That ball's still there.
Yeah. Keep track of that. Good for the walk tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of over this official spring training baseball I got anyway. I'd like to have a big league ball, please.
That was a pretty healthy rip by Blackmon, who's 0 for 2. Strikeout and a fly out. This one in the air the opposite way now. Short left field. Solak is there, and the inning is done. So 5 scoreless so far for Lance Lynn, the right-hander, dealing tonight. Rangers offense, another chance in the bottom of the 5th coming up.
And it wasn't for a Rangers family, it was for the family of a Colorado Rocky, a local boy named Sam Hilliard, who is starting tonight in left field. His first opening day start, and his family is here to watch it. His father, Jim, is battling ALS, and because of the current conditions, there was no way he would be able to attend a game, even if fans were allowed. So the 2 front offices from the Rockies and the Rangers got together, figured out a way for Jim and Tamara, his wife, and also Sam's fiance, Kat, to be here to watch him, not only in the exhibition games that took place earlier this week, but in the games here this weekend as well. So a really cool gesture from both teams to make it happen, and I know the family is extremely grateful for this opportunity to watch their son, who grew up watching this Rangers team play baseball. Guys.
Yeah, I'm so glad that it was able to be done.
Yeah,
when I heard it at first, I thought, really? I didn't think there was any chance you could pull that off, and it came down to the Rangers just saying, like, absolutely, we're going to get that done. You're coming to the game. We'll get you in, and we'll make it happen. And I don't even think, as it was told today, did MLB even have to sign off on it?
I don't believe so. I think the Rangers just kind of made an executive decision, knew that it was a really nice and right thing to do, and so they decided to let it happen.
No, it's fantastic.
And not surprising, right? I mean, this organization, when it comes to things like that, are just unbelievable. And a people-first organization and doing the right thing. And so what a really nice moment for Sam and his family.
His dad diagnosed in 2018, although had been struggling with the symptoms of Lou Gehrig's disease prior to that. And for Sam, it's one of those things too that Hilliard hasn't talked about a lot. As he said, he just didn't know really what to say. And obviously it's a very personal thing for him and his father, his family. But fantastic to have them here tonight. This one pounded up the middle, backhand stop. McMahon, good throw and a better dig at first. by Murphy to get Isaiah Kiner-Falefa.
That's a nice play by Trevor Story. We had talked about their defense the other day in one of the exhibition games, and for the Colorado Rockies, they struggled a little bit as far as their defensive efficiency, but they also have some really good defenders. I mean, Arenado we've talked about a bunch, but Trevor Story, excuse me, that was McMahon that made that play. Trevor Story obviously does a good job at short. McMahon showing it off there at second. Daniel Murphy made a nice play. Should have seen it. Did you see they put his look straight in the ground as he was picking that ball?
Well, Chu, if you can believe it, a third opportunity to get that first hit in Globe Life Field history. And after he struck out in the third, again, you didn't really think that he'd get another opportunity to do it, but here we are. It has been quite a performance tonight from Herman Marquez, 25-year-old right-hander making his first opening day start for the Rockies. And Chu shoots out one foul. Strike two. Four strikeouts so far for Marquez. 3 walks. The 1-2. And he strikes out Chu. Another 1-2-3 inning for Marquez. We go to the 6th inning. Still no score. No score through 5 innings. I expected to see some good pitching tonight, CJ. I'm not sure that I expected 2 hits in 5 innings between these two teams, especially after what we saw during those exhibition games.
Was it 6 home runs? Or yeah, right, 6 home runs in the last game.
Like that.
No, that's not right. There's 3 home runs by the Rockies in the first one, then 2 in the second, and 1 by the Rangers. 6 home runs over the 2 games. No doubt home runs are going to go down in this ballpark. I think we've seen the reaction from the players already through batting practices early on, summer camp, and then those first 2 exhibition games. That is probably a reality, but we do expect to see more hits. This infield does play fast. Remember, of course, this is an artificial surface, but one that the players sound like they've all been thrilled with. They seem to really be happy with how the surface is playing. It's just going to be a little bit quicker. The gaps are bigger, so we think we'll see some more doubles, some more triples, and some more ground balls that get through.
How about Lynn at 101 pitches on opening night?
Did it again.
Yeah.
By the way, the number I was wondering about, strikeouts in an opener for the Rangers, the record is 9. It's been done 3 times.
This ball hit hard center field. Santana able to run it down. Arenado retired, 1 away.
Let's go ahead and get to our Ford game summary here. You were just talking about Lance Lynn and the great job that he has done so far here tonight. No runs across the board for either team, but Lance Lynn has not disappointed in his first ever opening day start, and of course the first start ever here at Globe Life Field. Lots of swings and misses on that fastball tonight from Lance Lynn, using it up in the zone like he often does, and he's looked locked in, and even though he's up over 100 pitches, he's still looking very strong. 6 strikeouts have come on fastball so far here tonight for Lance Lynn.
1 away, and Daniel Murphy the hitter, and this one gets in on his hands. A little pop up, and Chirinos wants it. 2 gone.
That had the makings of a pretty ugly collision potentially. So as a pitcher, you're pretty much told, especially once you become a professional, don't get near any pop-up, any fly ball. We're just not going to take that chance. We're going to let the guys that get paid to catch fly balls catch them if they can. But every once in a while, there's that borderline in between one right there. And Lance Lynn was going for that ball as soon as it was hit, knowing that Robinson Chirinos might not have been able to get there, or Isaiah Kiner-Falefa over at third. And Robbie took charge and yelled very loud, because I mentioned the other day that you wouldn't want to get run over by Joey Gallo in the gap. Wouldn't want to get run over by Lance Lynn either, chasing a little pop-up in the infield. Anyway, the 3 guys with 9 strikeouts in opening day starts for the Rangers. I'll give you the easy one. Nolan Ryan, yes, did it in 1991. The other 2 happened in 2013 and 2012. Do you know who they were?
I don't.
Kobe Lewis.
Okay.
Matt Harrison.
Okay. So at 105 pitches, I don't know, do you assume that this is his last inning?
Well, here's why I would say only yes. I normally would say no. But first start of the year, and he is pitching the 5th game of the year right now, right? The way that it stands, even though there's some off days built in. Which I'm trying. I should take a closer look at that. He still might be getting an extra day anyway, right?
I want to say that he is.
You got these 3 games, an off day. So that's day 3. No, it'd still be because he's pitching game 5. So no, because then it's a 2-game series after that. How about that part of the schedule? 3 series all against National League teams.
Yeah.
To start the season. As Jesse Chavez is warming up, so there's your answer. Same thing on that breaking ball. You see it slow down, stay up and away. That's not at all where he wants that pitch. I wonder whatever's going on with his finger, if there's anything there at all, if it's the breaking ball where he's feeling it, because he's thrown that pitch a couple of times and he's looked tentative when he's done it. But I think you're right. It's probably likely his last inning, so 1 chance left to tie a Ranger record.
And he did it. His 9th strikeout of the ball game. Lance Lynn gets McMahon for a 3rd time tonight.
But what a nice adjustment here from Lance Lynn. We talked so much about his fastball. The breaking ball hasn't quite looked the same. And then his last pitch here in the 6th inning, good-looking breaking ball to get the swing and a miss against Ryan McMahon.
And the Rockies here in the season opener. Elvis Andrus looking to change that. And if he is able to get a hit, it will mean $100 for the Team Luke Hope for Minds Foundation. And it's a cause that is very near to Elvis's heart. He made a pledge that with every hit he got this season, he would pledge $100 to that very worthy organization. It comes from a relationship that he developed actually on one of the hospital visits we make during the holidays. And I know Luke and his family very well. They're from Lubbock, Texas, which is where my roots are. And those two met and had an instant connection and really hit it off. And Elvis has maintained a relationship with the Siegel family and decided that this season he wanted to raise awareness for brain injuries. He also wanted to contribute financially to a foundation that is having a hard time raising money, as all are right now.
And we thought you timed that perfect, Emily.
All right, do you review this one?
Well, we'll find out. I mean, for Chris Woodward, you don't want the $100 to be on the line here. You're going to be thinking about the game is more important right now. But there are some new rules, by the way, with instant replay as we take a look at this. This is a very nice play by Trevor Story, backhand, and kind of that leaping throw a little bit. I thought Elvis got there when I first saw it. We'll see. It's a matter of whether or not Daniel Murphy kept his foot on the bag. The throw beat him, but is the foot on the bag? Ooh, it certainly appears that it is. There's going to be no challenge. So real quick, I mentioned the idea that there'll be some changes in instant replay. There's a really good look at it. Oh, that's close. But I think he held the bag. Too close to challenge. In case you hadn't seen it enough, there it is again. Look at that foot, just barely keeping the toe on the bag. Here we go.
Santana, that one well struck, and there's your first base hit. It'll go for extra bases. Danny into second with a stand-up double in the 6th inning. This offense may be showing a little life.
How big is that call right there, by the way, at first, which they got right, but another half a step, whatever it may be, that Elvis is safe. And we might have seen the first Rangers run as well. Here's a breaking ball that stayed away. Backdoor, but not with nearly the same break that we've seen from Marquez for most of the night. And Danny Santana just laces this thing into left field, one hopping the wall.
All right, Bud Black out there to have a word with Marquez. And I mentioned earlier, there was no official pitch count on Marquez, but the idea was 75, maybe 80 pitches, and here he is at 81. And they're going to let him hang in there.
Interesting to see that first
Gallo
time out.
coming up.
Yeah, very interesting to see that be the case. Real quick, just to finish that thought on instant replay. It used to be you had 10 seconds to decide whether or not you're going to go ahead and challenge, and then 20 basically to figure out what you want to go for, and then 30 seconds to say yes or no on the challenge. That got knocked down to 20 seconds, and that is going to be significant this year. Chris Woodward said it's usually in those last 10 seconds when they get that final camera shot and they make their decision. So that'll no doubt come into play. He said maybe some more guessing this year on his part and going with instinct as far as when he decides to challenge and not challenge.
Gallo goes after the first pitch. That one heading foul. Will it get out of play? Just barely. Joey with a chance to drive in the first run of this game. Bottom of the 6th inning and a well-pitched effort on both sides. Combined 3 hits so far. Santana's double a moment ago. The first Rangers hit. Then you have to wonder, is there anything left in that tank? It looks like Lynn is done for the night. Well, he's normally that casual between innings.
Not in a 0-0 game
No.
if he was still in there. What a great effort, first effort from Lance Lynn this season. He was very humble about getting the opening day start, had said all the right things about the Rangers, the other starters, how it easily could have gone to others. Talked a little bit about his history and the people that have helped him get to the point where he is right now, but he really did an excellent job in his first ever opening day start.
0-2 to Gallo. There's a swing, and that ball is launched. But will it be fair? Foul. Oh, my.
All right, so that question got answered, which was one I asked you a couple days ago. We saw Joey Gallo do that quite a bit at the old ballpark where he could get into that third deck in right field foul. Well, he can get there now. We just saw it, which means he can get there, I think, in fair territory as well.
Boy, that was an absolute missile. Thinking Marquez might be at the end of his rope. The 0-2. Way in, and that one gets away. Santana to third base. Wild pitch, I would assume.
Take a look at this pitch here from Marquez. Looked like it probably was the breaking ball. It was. Mentioned that one of the keys to his success is getting hitters to chase that pitch out of the zone. But that one was well out of the zone, and for Walters, not an easy pitch to block at all.
All right, first run of the game's only 90 feet away now. 1 out. Infield in. 1-2. Oh, did he hold up? I don't think he did. He went. That's strike 3. Second out of the inning.
So that's the one he was trying to throw earlier, right? The idea of the what we call a strike the ball, breaking ball. It's a strike out of his hand. It finishes out of the zone. By the time Joey was able to recognize it, he was unable to stop his swing. He tried the best he could. You can see that barrel come around and him offer at that pitch. And of course, only fair balls matter. But Joey did hit that ball 416 feet. That was foul, by the way.
I didn't know we'd get distances on the foul balls. That's awesome.
Only here at Globe Life Field. We're extra special. No, it's not true. I think it's just everything that's going on now with all the new Hawkeye data and cameras that they have in every ballpark. There's a lot more what I like to call nerd food available for us.
Well, I just have a feeling that Rugi might hit one a long way here. Santana at third with 2 out. And he hits this one a short way, but foul. 1-1. Odor did have a big camp. Had a great spring. Cut short by the interruption of the coronavirus. And then summer camp had some 5 home runs in those inter-squad and exhibition games. Swinging the bat well. His 6th straight opening day. Rather 7th. There's a swing and a miss. 1-2. Throw down a third, and Santana, wow, just got back there.
So certainly something to keep in mind here with the Rockies. That's the second time that we have seen them throw behind a runner. The Rangers are going to play them 6 times this year in the regular season. Watch this. I mean, you saw Nolan Arenado cheating over there. Had that throw been a little bit more on the money,
yeah,
Danny Santana might have been out.
Yeah, that's on the throw. By the way, let me correct myself. 6th straight opening day start for Rudy. The 1-2. And that's high.
What did you say the first time? 60th?
6, and then I said 7th.
Oh.
And a little bit like the leap year business. I'm settling on 6th. I'm going final. 2-2. And Odor stays alive.
So we started talking a little bit about what they have up on the scoreboard. When y'all get here, get a chance to see it at Globe Life Field. And there's little things you got to look for because, as you mentioned, kind of in small font and some stuff that, like me, you may not know exactly what it means: induced vertical brake and horizontal brake. But they do have the exit velocity up there. They do have the launch angle and the distance. I think the exit velocity and the distance are the ones that fans can kind of wrap their brains around pretty easily. For me, I know that's a couple that we will go to. There it is. I will find out what induced vertical brake is. And right on cue, Chuck changes the scoreboard because he wants these fans to get loud. Let's get loud now.
Well, full count now. Odor walked his last time up, and he hits this ball in the air to the right side. Foul again. Oh, those fans, they're into it.
Ooh. Come on, baby. Easter egg hunt. It's on. Oh, look, where'd that ball go?
Row 11. I got it. Tomorrow.
It disappeared.
Mine.
All right, so here's where I just got a little suspicious, Dave Raymond. Up on the scoreboard, those things that we were just showing you.
Yeah.
It said that ball went 152 feet before it landed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Calculation. Estimated.
Yep.
Odor toward the alley, right center. It's down, base hit. Santana scores. Odor pedals for second, and the Rangers score the first run of the ball game. 1-0 in the 6th inning.
So great to see from Rougned Odor. You can see the excitement of the Doppel Rangers that are into this one as well. But for Ruby, you mentioned solid spring, solid summer camp, and to see it turn into a really big at-bat, high fastball, look at him go up and get it and square it up and drill this thing into the right field gap. An easy double. I'd wondered what kind of bounce we might get off the wall, and would this potentially be a triple, but smart of Ruby, of course, to pull up right there with 2 outs. It's going to end Marquez's night. And a big spot there for Rougned Odor, who did that last year very good with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, Cash is in tonight. Rangers with the 1-0 lead and a new pitcher coming on for Colorado.
To add on here, and you may have heard, you hear some crowd noise here, right? That's being piped in, but you may have heard an extra burst of crowd noise when Rougned Odor knocked in that first RBI in the history of Globe Life Field, and that came courtesy of about 150 Rangers employees that were granted an exemption from MLB to be here at the ballpark tonight just for the season opener, the opening day of this ballpark. The Rangers went through MLB, made sure it was okay, and about 150 employees are scattered throughout, but a good portion of them right above me and made their presence known when Rugi hit that double.
Now, we have an official attendance tonight. Do you think, would it say 150, or do you count the Doppel Rangers 2,600?
No, you know what? Because I believe those attendance figures are always about tickets sold. I think. It's a very good question.
Carlos Estevez on now for the Colorado Rockies. You see that repertoire. Fastball's a hard one, 98 on average.
Liner out to left, and a diving catch out there by Sam Hilliard to take one away from Frazier. A tough way for the inning to end, but the Rangers at long last get on the board. Rougned Odor, the RBI double, and it's 1-0 Rangers. On top, 1-0, and there you see fans who are waiting in line outside earlier today. Why? Well, they wanted to join the group inside, watching live right now at Texas Live. And what a cool way to be able to take in the game, just steps away from the ballpark. Can't get in the ballpark, but can get pretty darn close.
That place is amazing. Had lunch there the other day. It'll be nice when we're kind of at full capacity and everybody can be there. But for now, you can be at least in the shadows of Globe Life Field and watch the game with other Rangers fans as Jesse Chavez comes on now for Lance Lynn. See the repertoire for Jesse and the numbers last season.
And he gets a first pitch ground ball to shortstop. One away is Jesse gets things going in this 7th inning. All right, time for a Chevy game break. Where in the world is John Radigan?
Yeah, out here with history tonight, Dave. First National League designated hitter to hit a home run, Yoenis Cespedes with a solo shot. The only run in a 1-0 Mets win over the Braves, guys.
Very interesting there, of course, with the DH universally this year, so meaning the National League will have the DH. Yoenis Cespedes, that'll give him some opportunities. What a strange year he's had after the wild boar incident from a year ago, and they reduced his contract and all. Very strange, but certainly Mets fans happy to have him back tonight.
Chavy's 1-0, and it is fouled away by Sam Hilliard, who made a really nice catch just moments ago to end the bottom of the 6th inning. Hilliard with family on hand for this one tonight, and falls behind 1-2.
Yeah, what a cool moment, right, to make that catch in front of your family. Obviously, we'd love to have seen him miss it too. That would have been a nice moment for us, but at the same time, very cool moment having his family there, as you mentioned, a guy who grew up a Ranger fan. That's his family. But also really good to see Jesse Chavez out there. Last year battled some injuries.
Ooh, pours that one right in there. Strike 3 called. Hilliard down looking. 2 away.
If you remember, Jesse eventually ended up getting surgery to remove some bone chips that he had in his elbow. He said, I just finally ran out of patience and had to get it done. He was battling it all year and struggling to do things like this, which is a calling card for Jesse Chavez to be able to paint front door, 2-seam fastball, starts a ball, comes back in just a little bit, just enough to catch the inside corner.
Jesse trying to shoot a corner that time, just misses for ball 1 to Walters. Walters with the strikeout and the line out. Jesse, we saw Jesse the other day in one of the exhibitions. Did he dye the hair?
That's not natural.
Well, but I mean, it wasn't that shock blonde, was it, the other day?
No, I don't think so. Perhaps he and Emily had an appointment today for opening day together. Hair's on point for both of them tonight.
Well, yeah, that's something right there. (1-1). Do you think John Blake would set up a Zoom press conference with Jesse so we could ask that question?
You ask him.
In the past, you'd just be able to walk into the clubhouse tomorrow and just ask what's going on with the hair. But now there's John, hardest working man in the business. 1-2, and this one ripped right side, just foul. But now, the only access we get, officially anyway, is via Zoom press conferences. If you had some personal contact information, you could reach out to a guy, but it's just different. Everything's different.
Yeah, it is, and it's difficult for the writers because it's hard for them to get kind of those exclusive stories that they're so good at bringing to Rangers fans.
Well, Odor just scored the game's first run, and he makes a put out here in the 7th inning. It is a 7th inning stretch, and as tradition here, let's turn it over to Chuck Morgan.
Your attention, please. Will you please rise and direct your attention to the video boards as we remember the servicemen and women who are serving our country at home and around the world. Michael Bortz will now perform God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
In-game video highlights, breaking news, player updates, stat leaderboards, standings, game day, live pitch by pitch. There's a really quite a litany of things. Just download the app now, the MLB app. We saw the Black Lives Matter logo as well there as we came back. Robinson Chirinos scores up the first pitch. Whoa, sinking liner almost crossed up Hilliard out there in left field.
Seen a little bit of this from some defenders, and even though the Rockies have already played a couple of games in this ballpark, everyone is still getting used to it. And your reads on the ball, that one looked like it sunk a little bit. It just could have been top spin off the bat of Robinson Chirinos.
One away. Estevez, the hard thrower, and for the time being will be a big part of the back end of this Rockies bullpen as he runs one in on Nick Solak, a bullpen that last year for Colorado was an abject disaster. And about a week ago, I mean, there's been a lot of remake over the offseason, but even as recently as a week ago, they made some fairly dramatic moves. They released Brian Shaw and Jake McGee. Now Scott Oberg, who was a huge guy for them last year, opens the season on the injured list with his stiff or strained back. Very critical guy for them. They opened the season with 3 relievers that they have added since spring training. Tyler Kinley, Tim Collins, and Daniel Bard, notably. So that's a big part of what's going to be going on in Colorado. Fastball from Estevez in there, though, for a strike, 3-1.
It's pretty difficult to win without a bullpen. They tried to invest heavily to improve theirs a couple of years ago, which on paper I thought it was a good move. I like that move. It did not work out well at all, as you mentioned, releasing a couple of guys that were making significant dollars.
Oh, that ball hit hard by Solak, but not going to carry. Hilliard getting a lot of action all of a sudden in left. 2 away. Well, Rangers fans, you can do more than just watch the games from home. In fact, you can bring a piece of the game to your home. You can get game-used baseballs, gear, or autographed photos and jerseys by visiting TexasRangers.com/authentics. Estevez pumps one in there for a strike to Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. 0 for 1 with a walk. Much more upright stance this year for Isaiah. And he shoots this one by first. That's a fair ball. Into the corner where it
that's a
bangs
nice
that
bounce.
Kiner-Falefa around second. He heads for third. Here comes the throw. Not in time. A triple for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. There you go, the weird bounces.
Your middle infielders have got to be there on balls that are right down the line, and because of that netting and the way that things are set up for those suites that down there so fans can see when they are here, watch this thing kind of get rattled around and just stop. I mean, it didn't even bounce off. That ball just sat there as you see Charlie Blackmon come in and finally get that ball. Some funky spin on it coming off with a right-handed bat. Caught that pad on the inside. Had it not, it probably would have only been a double. But instead it turns into a triple. Doubles and triples, I don't doubt, especially on the triples, at the rate numbers. Obviously we're only playing 60 games, so the total numbers won't go up, and it's 30 home games, but what do the rate numbers do?
Sharp ground ball to second base. McMahon is there, and Chu retired. 2 in the inning. Well, a little excitement in the bottom of the 7th. We go to the 8th inning in a 1-0 game. Brought to you by Baylor's Scott & White Health. Changing healthcare for the better. That is some tricky camera work right there. Kind of a cool view. A little artistic interpretation. Boy, we're packed in here tonight. Packed in, a 1-0 Rangers lead. 8th inning here on opening day. Saw some of the bunting hanging around behind those Doppel Rangers. It's definitely one of the most unique opening days you'll ever experience. Jonathan Hernandez figures to be a very key member of this Rangers bullpen.
Yeah, he certainly does, and this is probably the biggest part of the ball game right now. It's the 8th inning. It's a 1-run lead. You're at the top of the order of a very good order, and David Dahl, Trevor Story, and Charlie Blackmon that are due up. And so Chris Woodward goes to Jonathan Hernandez, who was extremely impressive in summer camp, was throwing the ball well in spring training. We saw him last year. It's a power arm. Power sinker in the upper 90s, but with amazing movement. And this camera angle is going to give you a really nice view of what that fastball looks like and how much it moves.
First pitch, and that one hit sharply up the middle. Base hit. What a good night for Dahl.
That certainly has been. This is elevated. You see where Robinson Chirinos' glove is. He's down. He wants that ball down. You turn those two-seam fastballs into ground balls, but you elevate and you give that hitter a chance. And Jonathan's first pitch of the 2020 season turns into a little ground ball up the middle. But I think it's really telling, as I mentioned, huge part of the game, some really good hitters coming up. This is how much confidence Chris Woodward has in this right-hander. Throwing him right into the fire first game of the year. I mean, these are some tight situations.
That was a good start tonight by Lance Lynn. 6 shutout innings, 2 hits, 9 strikeouts. Worked around 4 walks. And Hernandez, good fastball, and that one apparently just a smidge high.
Now we'll say this, as good as Jonathan's velocity is, he's one of those guys that's definitely better down in the zone because of that heavy sinker two-seam fastball that he throws. And not that it's easy. He's not a guy that's going to give up a ton of home runs necessarily, even if he does miss his spots, but a couple of elevated fastballs here early on.
Was running away from Chirinos a little bit. 2-0.
Yeah, going the wrong way as far as what Robbie was expecting. So listen, he's been very calm, cool, collected, very open to whatever the Rangers want him to do. Of course, he's a former starter that I think really has found himself a home in the bullpen and someone who could take on significant innings. But he's still a human being, and this is his first opening day in a 1-run game in the 8th. So no doubt that heart is beating pretty fast right now.
2-0 pitch. This one in the air. Center field. Long run Santana. Back near the fence, and he'll make the catch. Story sent that a long way. The throw to second. Ooh. Dahl just got in there. Wow, gutsy advance by David Dahl.
Good two-seam fastball. I tell you, I felt like it needed to be down, and Trevor Story went down and got this ball and got it up in the air on top of it. Danny Santana does a nice job tracking this thing right in front of the wall, and then alertly comes up throwing right away, knowing that there could be a possibility of a tag, and they almost got David Dahl. That would have been a disastrous play for the Rockies had he been out. That was pretty close.
Of course, now Dahl with the potential tying run in scoring position, and out of that double play scenario, at least for the moment. Blackmon 0 for 3, strikeout and 2 flyouts. They've got the shift on the infield for him. Charlie Blackmon, veteran left-handed hitter. Just turned 34 years old and moved from center field to right last year. One and one. He's been an excellent hitter. Won a batting title a couple of years ago. In fact, was the first National League center fielder to do so since Willie McGee had done it previously back in 1990. And he may have lost a little bit of the speed that made him such a multi-threat offensive weapon. But boy, he's still pretty good. 1 and 2. Well, right now this one up to this Rangers bullpen. Jesse Chavez was excellent. Faced 3 hitters in the 7th inning. Got him 1, 2, 3.
That just needed 10 pitches. 8 of those were strikes. He looked really sharp.
To the plate, 1 and 2, and a swing and a miss. He gets Blackmon 2 away.
A really nice pitch there from Hernandez. You saw right before the pitch that Robinson Chirinos kind of gave the high fake target and then wanted this ball down and in. Looked like about a 90-mile-an-hour slider, perfectly located when you're trying to get that swing and miss. Yep, good look at the grip there. You can see that slider spin. You see Charlie Blackmon swinging right over the top of it. Now one more very tough out to go here for Jonathan Hernandez. This is fun.
This is a big test right here for the kid. Arenado 0 for 3. Righty on righty, and Hernandez can't get him to chase that one.
Now think about how loud it would be in here right now, especially when there was 2 strikes to Charlie Blackmon. If Jonathan Hernandez can get to a 2-strike count with Arenado, I mean, that would be loud.
To crank it. Well, this is one of the biggest at bats, highest leverage spots in the ball game right here. 1 and 1 to count. Yeah, they're not sleeping on it. Dog day today, apparently. Arenado wants time. Seven Gold Gloves in his first 7 seasons. Last year career high .315 batting average, 41 home runs. 1-1. Good eye. Lays off a close one.
Well, be careful of the overthrow, right? Went back to the slider once again, but that one elevated. I think Robinson Chirinos probably noticing the same thing and figuring it's a pretty good time to go ahead and talk to his young pitcher right here, because mistakes, obviously, you don't want to make them, but you especially don't want to make them to hitters like Nolan Arenado. So try to get him to calm down a little bit. Almost, sometimes you have to really know your guys and what works, as we see Edinson Volquez warming up now in that Ranger bullpen. Sometimes you tell a guy, give me 90% here. And the velocity is going to be the same. Nothing's going to slow down. You're just trying to slow him down a little bit and try to get him back on target, because command location extremely important here in this at bat. With that being said, Jonathan Hernandez does have the kind of stuff that he can get away with missing location once in a while, because everything is live, everything is moving, but it's certainly not the goal.
All right, visit over the 2-1 and 98 miles per hour, but well off the plate.
And the other part of that conversation for Jonathan, being young, having not been in very many spots like this because he hasn't been a reliever very long, you certainly don't want to walk the potential go-ahead run,
right?
But you don't want to give in either here, because you're facing a star. Starting over with a lefty for Jonathan with that good 2-seam fastball. He's just as good against lefties and can be. We just saw him strike out Charlie Blackmon. So for me, the message here is still shoot corners, and if you have to, you start over with the next guy.
3-1 pitch, and that's outside. So he does let Arenado go. Well, baseball is officially back tonight. Now, the fans are not, but great idea to get you into a seat at the ballpark this year might be to send in your Doppel Ranger for just $50. Send in a photo of yourself. We'll make a cardboard cutout, your Doppel Ranger. We'll put it in a seat here at Globe Life Field. Proceeds benefit the Texas Rangers Baseball Foundation. All the instructions and more online, texasrangers.com/DoppelRangers. All right, Murphy, the batter now, and he takes 98 for a strike.
And again, not that it was a strategy to walk Arenado on purpose, but this works out in his favor by getting ahead right now with Daniel Murphy, but also a really good hitter and not a guy necessarily who's going to be overwhelmed by velocity. Location still very important here for Jonathan.
0-2 the count. Look out in there. Well, it's a new year, right? But Murphy last year, and a lot of Rockies have the same sort of issue. The home road splits were pretty dramatic. Hit .317 at home last year, just .237 on the road. And he's in a whole 0-2. The fans should be getting into it here at 0-2.
So loud right now. So loud. Can you imagine 1-0 opening day?
Yeah.
8th inning, 0-2. 2 runners on.
Here it comes. Yeah, Chirinos liked it.
Yeah.
You know, not that he was saying that pitch should have been a strike, but but that's exactly where he wanted to put it.
Absolutely. And so you have some options here. You can go back to the slider down and in if you want to. Jonathan's got a good changeup. He's not afraid to use it. It's firm. His changeup averaged 90 miles an hour last year. Slider down and in, though, does seem to be a pretty good strikeout pitch. You can elevate a fastball.
The 1-2. Got a piece.
So he wanted that one in, and because Jonathan really doesn't throw anything straight, ball came back over the plate a little bit. Watch where Robinson Chirinos is set up, and then watch where this ball ends up. You got to come back and get it over the middle a little bit. That's that movement. Maybe expand his zone here a little bit, possibly. Not an average chase rate for Daniel Murphy over the course of his career.
Huge spot. Dahl at second, Arenado at first. A 1-0 game, and a foul ball keeps it back going. 99 that time.
Come on, you need to be rewarded for that. That is a beautiful pitch. Daniel Murphy spoiling 99. It starts out a ball, comes back, and just catches the inside corner. That was a beautiful pitch. That's just a sign of a good hitter. And should you hear Young, look at him, see him pull his hands in right there and just foul it off. But you'll hear pitchers talk about that a lot when they first get to the big leagues. That pitch that turns into a strikeout all day long in AAA is a foul ball in the big leagues.
All right, another 1-2. And this one line foul.
Exhale there for Jonathan Hernandez. That one probably a little bit too much of a strike. I mean, he is still way ahead in this count right now at 1-2. Now everything has been in. I don't know how Robinson Chirinos feels about the changeup and the idea of maybe throwing it or even the two-seam fastball down and away. Maybe try to get a chase, something off the end of the bat. Now the Rangers are in a shift, so they don't necessarily want to see a ground ball go to routine shortstop because nobody's there. So perhaps they continue to pound in. We'll see. I might have backdoor slider here as well. It's down.
7th pitch of the at-bat. And a swing and a miss. Strike 3. He got him. Preserves the 1-0 Rangers lead in the 8th.
A good-looking pitch here at 90 miles an hour from Jonathan Hernandez. What an inning for him as he's got to face the top of the Rockies order. You see him striking out Charlie Blackmon, and then a changeup here that sat middle, a little foul tip, and a nice squeeze from Robinson Chirinos. Tremendous 2020 debut from Jonathan Hernandez. It's time for the Baylor Scott and White Health game diagnosis. And all the offense the Rangers have needed so far tonight has come in the 6th inning. It was Danny Santana with the first Ranger hit in his new ballpark. And then it was a couple of batters later, Rougned Odor with a double in the right field gap, where we see Santana scoring easily. And so Rugi picking up where he left off a year ago, driving a run in with a runner in scoring position. And that is where we stand. The Rangers lead at 1-0 as we go to the bottom of the 8th inning.
Jairo Diaz, the pitcher for the Rockies, another hard-throwing right-hander. Last of the 8th, 1-0 the score. The 2, 3, and 4 hitters coming for the Rangers.
Yeah, interesting guy on your right as far as the fastball, 97 miles an hour on average. But he actually throws his slider a little bit more than he throws his fastball, which is amazing, but not uncommon. That is a trend that we have seen in the game, even for some of these amazing velocities that we're seeing in the game. The use of the all-speed pitches, if you have a good one, becoming more prominent than ever.
Oh, that heater just a little bit low. 1-1. Diaz kind of rocks to that set in the 1-1 pitch. Out towards center field, and a weird play by Dahl to kind of lean forward at the last second. He was caught between taking it on a hop and laying out for it. Eventually just sort of leaned into it.
Yeah, this ball was smoked at nearly 106 miles an hour off the bat of Elvis Andrus. Look at this bend. Great look that you're going to get from our high home camera, and that's why he got thrown off a little bit. Not only did it kind of curve a little left to right, but then also had a little bit of drop to it. And again, you wonder for these guys, not having played very many games here, how well they're seeing the ball and getting those jumps and those reads are something that we'll keep an eye on here throughout the first homestand. But Elvis tattooed that baseball.
Yeah. Santana takes one high. Danny had the double in the 6th inning. First Rangers hit in this ballpark. 2 batters later would score on the Odor double. One and one the count. You know, another sort of new item this year. We've talked a lot about the ballpark, but how about the Rangers home whites with Rangers written in script across the front? That's been a long time coming.
Mm-hmm.
A high fly ball out to right. Blackman is there. Time for a Chevy game break. Let's check it again with John Radigan.
All right, Dave, thanks. Cincinnati Reds are a trendy pick in the National League Central. Joey Votto's home run helped them get off to a good start. It's a 7-1 victory over the Detroit Tigers today, guys.
All right, yeah, thanks, John. So the Reds, and by the way, when you win a game like that, so the Reds win that game, that's like winning or sweeping a 3-game series. It's almost the equivalent during a regular or real season.
Because why?
Because every game's magnified by 2.7.
Because it's a third, I see. Except they have to play them 2 more times. So it's like playing them 9
straight
games,
from them. Here's the 1-strike pitch, and Gallo takes it high. All right, I've got a little Gallo trivia for you.
Oh,
we mentioned earlier.
It'd be harder than my trivia question.
His 4th consecutive opening day start, and each one at a different position. Only the second Ranger to do that. Who was the other?
Oh gosh, really? Can you give me a decade?
Yes, late 70s, early 80s.
I'm out.
Okay. And the difference between Joey and this guy is that in one of those seasons, Al Oliver did it as a designated hitter. Now, who was it?
These are questions you should reserve for Tom, right? I mean, that's pretty fair.
It's Al Oliver.
I know. But I mean, from the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's a tough one. That's a tough one. Well, Joey so far 0 for 3. Now he, like Blackman, was late to summer camp because of a COVID test, and pops this one straight up again. Almost hit those rafters. Wow. it will end the inning. And that one came down heavy. Took Story right to the turf. All right, 9th inning is next. We'll look for Jose Leclerc. Rangers lead 9th inning. And you know, tours of Globe Life Field are presented by Choctaw Casino and Resorts. Come see why fans are raving about this new walk around the new Globe Life Field. Taking all the magnificent views, snap some good pictures. See how Rangers history is literally written on the walls. Book your tickets online, TexasRangers.com/tours. Well, the Rangers bringing in Jose Leclerc to try and shut the door here, but also some defensive changes as well, as they will solidify things in the 9th in a 1-run game.
I see the numbers for Jose. We know about the great swing and miss, the strikeouts that he had last year. Also a very difficult guy to square up. The .209 batting average against. Now, some mistakes early on. We saw some struggles against left-handed hitters on some home runs. He seemed to have gotten that figured out toward the end of the year. It's a 4-seam fastball slider. We call that Slamio, that kind of cut changeup that he throws with a real changeup, and then also a 2-seam fastball.
All right, so Leclerc charged with preserving the 1-0 lead. And he misses very high. Ball 1 to Ryan McMahon.
You were in our broadcast meeting today, where it was the broadcasters, radio and television, with Chris Woodward, and I asked him a question about Taveras playing center field, and would he be a late inning defensive replacement? And I said, would you move Santana to left? And he said he wasn't sure, because he wants to see Danny play center. But this is, I think, a reality what happens going forward with the Rangers. I think there's a chance if they're going to win, they're going to play a lot of close games, most likely. With the good starting pitching that they have, they'll blow some teams out. But I think we'll see a handful of really close games this year, and they're going to be important in a shortened season with the expanded postseason. So point being is defense late is really going to matter. And Taveras is an excellent center fielder. And when you think about left field, right, there's some guys that can hold the position down, but I don't know necessarily if the Rangers have any plus defenders in left field right now. So Danny Santana goes over from center to left in this situation. Taveras making his major league debut, and I would guess that you're going to see this pretty often, most likely, in tight games late.
Is, in your estimation, is Danny a plus defender in left field?
I don't know. I would say, well, obviously Chris Woodward feels that of the group. When I say the group, meaning Chu, Solak, and eventually Willie Calhoun when he gets back, he's probably the best left fielder. I haven't looked at, as far as where he is from a metric standpoint, but I'm comfortable with him being out there. Listen, if they're going to trust him to play center, they're definitely going to trust him to play some left, especially late.
Well, Leclerc issues the walk to start things here in the 9th inning. So McMahon aboard, and Tapia, now the hitter, 0 for 2 with a walk himself. Yeah, I don't want to say I'm surprised. I assumed that we would see Leody Taveras get his fair share of work in center field in these kinds of situations. I basically expected to see that. Based on the conversation today, it catches me a little by surprise to see Danny in left.
It was a 1-run ball game too, and he is your 3-hole hitter. Now, of course, the Rangers hoping that Jose Leclerc will close this game out, but if for some reason that doesn't happen, Danny's spot's going to come up again, and now Nick Solak's will come up before his, as the Rangers, if they do hit again, Ruben Odor would be leading off. But it's a bat that you don't want to necessarily give up either.
Well, we talked last inning about how big a spot it was for Jonathan Hernandez. For Leclerc, there's some ups and downs, and I think the hope was, hey, you come out and you just you get that first opportunity, you make it nice and clean. Well, a walk, and then a 2-0 count to the next hitter. Decidedly not the way he wanted to go, and he gets that one right in there for a strike.
Good job. Very nice timing by Robinson Chirinos after those 6 straight balls to go out and talk to his closer. And while no doubt that Jonathan Hernandez had the tougher hitters to face, when it comes to matchups, as good as Jose Leclerc was last year, lefties did do a better job against him than the righties. He absolutely dominated righties. They hit just 158 against him, but the lefties hit 267. a big call right there. That is a
Chirinos
big,
helped him out a little bit.
Big call. When you hear teams talk about things like pitch framing and what it really means, and as it stands right now, this is a monster call and a great job by Chirinos in this at bat, because the difference between being 3-1 and 2-2 right now for Jose Leclerc and his confidence in a big spot when you're facing the potential tying run, that can't be understated.
2-2. He just got a piece of it.
Or overstated. That's the right phrase. Should I say it can't be overstated?
Can't be overstated.
Yeah.
Correct.
It could be understated.
It could be. It's one of your little quirks.
Oh, it's not a quirk. I don't know what I'm doing.
What are you doing?
Straight up, not sure.
Two. Swing and a miss. He got him. Tapia not happy. One away.
Well, no doubt frustrated. I mean, you saw it when we first saw the 2-1 call, and then this is a really nice looking cut slider. There's the good grip. Has that slider spin, change up velocity to it, and a big swing. But nothing doing for Tapia.
Tough night so far tonight for Sam Hilliard. Mansfield product, 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts, and Leclerc's first pitch, he's way out in front of it, strike one. This would have to be a very tough at bat for a young player like Hilliard, who had just a handful of big league games last year, and now his first opening day. Leclerc, not the style of pitcher you're probably accustomed to seeing a whole lot of.
Definitely not.
1 strike pitch, and that fastball just a little bit high.
There's a lot that's unique about him. Yes, we see a lot of good velocities these days, but again, it's the off-speed pitches and his ability to basically take that cut changeup and a slider and make them look different. The two-seam fastball running away, so he has everything going in both directions, and he's just a very difficult guy to pick the ball up on, especially because of that spin. It's just so unique on what we call the Slambio slider changeup.
1-1 inside. Leclerc walked McManus at first. He fell behind Tapia, and then Jim Reynolds gave him a pretty important strike 2 call. Look at it that Jim Reynolds gave it to him, or that Chirinos coaxed Reynolds into the call. Either way, it was a pitch that looked at best borderline. And he struck out Tapia. 2-1 to Hilliard, way up and out of there, 3-1. About a word now from Choctaw Casino and Resort.
Want to make your own big plays? We'll see you at Choctaw Casinos and Resorts, exclusively for everyone.
All right, well, a good hitter's count here for Hilliard, who is a good hitter. Very small lead for McMahon at first. Strike on the outside corner. Full count. So Leody Taveras, 21-year-old, placed in at center field defensively behind Leclerc. Attempting to lock down his first save of the season. The 3-2 and a swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts for Leclerc. 2 away.
And for all the pitches that you have to worry about, this is one of the last that you're thinking as a hitter, and this is the standard changeup. Look at the movement, such a nice look. 87 miles an hour, fading away from a lefty. You mentioned, of course, that times that Jose will cut that changeup. You know you got to worry about 97 miles an hour, and he goes to a nice fadeaway changeup there to a left-handed hitter.
All right, and now a quick visit. Julio Rangel, second year as Rangers pitching coach out there, along with Chirinos. Matt Kemp trying to get loose there on the on-deck circle. Opening day, first game ever played in this brand new beautiful ballpark, Globe Life Field. Rangers did not get a hit to the 6th inning. And that hit was a double by Danny Santana. Odor, 2 batters later, would double him home for the only run of the game. An excellent 6 shutout innings by Lance Lynn. And Jose Leclerc trying to finish up 3 excellent innings of relief by this Rangers pen.
Yeah, this would be nice to see. I mean, you think about the job that the Rangers have done so far as a staff. 14 strikeouts in this game through 8 2/3, and Jose Leclerc would love to make it 15 right here.
Matt Kemp, veteran right-handed hitter. Here it comes. Strike 1 to Slambia. One strike pitch. Been in. There's that heater.
By the way, the 14 strikeouts we mentioned that Lance Lynn tied an individual record. Yeah. 9 strikeouts, the most on opening day, tied with 3 others. Well, the 14 strikeouts for the pitching staff on opening day is a new record. They beat last year's record of 13. I'm sorry, 2 years ago. 2018.
1-1 to Kemp. And that just misses. It's been over a decade since the Rangers authored an opening day shutout. They're close to doing that as well. McMahon the runner at first, time called. Matt Kemp in his first year with the Rockies, longtime Dodger who did a lot of damage against Colorado over the years. Now in a Rockies uni, the 2-1, and he swings and misses. That'll even the count at 2-2. Well, a little shaky there initially for Leclerc. Command issues in the first 2 hitters, but he has bounced back. Struck out Tapia, struck out Hilliard. The 2-2, and Kemp fights it off.
That's a good pitch at 95 miles an hour on the inside corner. And you wonder for Jose, will that open up the outside part of the plate for him? That slider that he could throw down and away here, making Matt Kemp aware of high velocity in, or do you double back up? Do you worry about the fact where is he right now? Is his bat speed where it once was when he was nearly an MVP? So perhaps they try to go back in. Now you can play, it's a bigger ballpark now, and so sometimes you wouldn't take chances in, but you might be able to with Matt Kemp.
Outfield very deep. The 2-2 pitch is just off the corner and low. Full count.
He did go to that slider. Matt Kemp did not chase it. There's an old adage that you don't finish a game in, but I think these circumstances might be a little bit different.
Fourth opening day roster for Leclerc, only the 2nd time he's pitched on opening day. The 3-2 runner goes, swing and a pop-up, should end it. Near first base, Frazier is there. Ball game over. Rangers christen their new ballpark with a shutout of the Colorado Rockies and a tidy 1-0 win.
Welcome to your new Rangers. You mentioned the shutout hasn't happened in their first home opener since 2007 when they beat the Red Sox, but perhaps a little bit of a taste of what we might see this year. Very good starting pitching, solid work by the bullpen. The defense was on point, and the Rangers all around play a very clean game and a great way to start things off in this brand new beautiful ballpark, the Globe Life Field.
Well, wake up on July 25th in first place. 1-0 Rangers tonight. For CJ Nitkowski and Emily Jones, I'm Dave Raymond. Our coverage of opening night continues right after this.